Okay, so first we have is posture. Now, hopefully you can see the difference between the before and after of those two positions there, in terms of the angle of your spine there, compared to that sort of hunch there in the top of the spine there, and your head very much down from the shoulders. A lot of knee flex, again, bending the knees. People try and bend the knees to get lower. The more you bend your knees, the more upright your spine gets, the more your head drops off the top of your shoulders there, the more rounded the spine gets, okay? And again, the more you bend your knees, if you're squatting, where's the weight going to go? Back towards your heels, isn't it? You're not going to squat on your tiptoes because you'll fall over. So the more you squat, the further from the ball you actually get. It sounds daft, I know, but the lower your knees get, everything's moving away from the golf ball. Okay, so because of that, when you're in a position now, your body can't move as effectively. The arms have to sort of substitute the swing. They can't keep moving, so they bend. As we saw when you try to follow through, that right arm can't say on the golf club if you're twisting, it's restricted. So then you just pull the arms in. Your left hand sort of plays sort of second fiddle. Okay, well, I'll just pull in a little bit more so the right arm can.
So I can stay with it. Like
exactly. Otherwise, you'd let go of the golf club. All right. So with a better posture there now, we can try and swing again, focusing on being nice and loose. So as the club goes back there now, we're trying to keep a nice sort of wide circle with the club, back to the top of the backswing, not letting those arms bend too much, pushing those arms nice and wide and just keeping that width in the swing. So as we come back to the golf ball, we can return back. Lovely strike as we can see there now. No sort of lift of the head or keeping your head down. We can then twist. So at this point now, the club's probably gone half mid-chest and your eyes are starting to look a little bit more down this way towards the range, whereas before, the swing had almost finished and you were still looking down at the ground. And even the phrase you said, we'll look at the ball, you see where you look at the ball, we'll see where it goes, kind of thing. That you get people to try and tell you, look down where the ground is and we'll see where it goes, Paul. Okay, you want to be watching the ball and seeing where it goes. Otherwise, if you're playing golf by yourself, you lose a lot of golf balls, wouldn't you? You've got to be able to make sure your body rotates and keep that width in the swing. I say golf's all about sort of angles and creating sort of the right geometry, I suppose. Get yourself in a better position. Get your spine over the golf ball in a position from where you can reach the ground. Like I say, if I said to you now from here, tilt forward and touch your toes, you could probably get down there quite close. If you try and touch your toes from there where you're hunched and you wouldn't get anywhere, your hands would probably go another 2 or 3.
Just everything.
It looks all tucked. If you look at there and there,
that way as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's all locked in and tighter. There's no sort of movement. Chin's down on your chest. There's the head and the neck is all tilted forward. It just restricts your movement massively. And because the body then can't move, you said you were a little bit tight anyway.
Yeah.
So if your limitation is, say, I know, if 100% is what we would think we should be able to get to, and you can only get to 75%, make sure you get to 75%.
Yeah.
Don't allow your limitations to be even more limited by a poor setup.
Would that be the same for driving?
Every club in the back, yeah. So you want to get better setup. Whichever club, for me, really, there's one swing in terms of full shots, and one sort of setup in terms of some of the angles. All that will change. Okay, so this is your spine angle from sort of hip to shoulder there. That's roughly 90 degrees. With a sand iron being a shorter club, over the ball more. With a driver, if we go for green, it'll be slightly longer. And the club out there, it's a longer club. So your spine angle will just slightly tilt more or less depending on the length of the club. Okay, the shorter the club, the more over the ball you are. The longer the club, the more upright you see. You're still going to create a 90-degree angle. Okay, so if this is your spine angle over the driver, you'd be out there with the driver, wouldn't you, roughly? And those two lines would be 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Now your 7-iron is there, and there's your, and with the pitching wedge you'd be down there, and there would be your pitching wedge thing. It's a shorter club. Okay, that makes sense?
It's all about not...
Don't get tucked in, don't grip it tight, don't squeeze that club. I said if you're squeezing on the range when there's no real pressure
that's right.
on the golf course, when you get then people start watching and you've got a score that counts and there's a consequence to a bad shot, you can bet your bottom dollar you're probably squeezing that club even tighter. And tightness in the grip creates tension in your forearms and your bicep and your shoulders. That shortens muscles, restricts movement, even worse. Okay?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yep.